everyone from Rockphonix. I hope you're good. We're going to look at a fairly advanced concept today. As long as you are familiar with accents, are familiar with ghost notes, really it's going to be fine for you to start looking at this stuff. I do generally feel that way about the intermediate and advanced stuff. Anytime you come across something, and as long as you're enthusiastic about it, you can go ahead and kind of tackle that stuff and start chipping away at it really whenever you like. Okay, so we're going to look at syncopation and specifically syncopated hi-hats. But the example I'm going to give to you now, just to go over what syncopation is if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to give an example on kick drum because it's likely that you've come across something very similar to this, if not this exact thing. So let's say we've got quarters on kick drum. Okay, we've got our 4 quarter notes on kick drum. Gets referred to as like 4 to the floor or 4 on the floor. I'm sure you've heard that. So if we've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, our notes are evenly spaced, right? So this is not syncopated, that's non-syncopated. If we were to take a note away, let's say we take note 2 away, the second quarter, we've now got 1, nothing on 2, 3 and 4. So 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. It's now unevenly spaced. Now we've got a syncopation, right? But it isn't just taking notes away. We could also add in a note. So let's say we add in an 8th note. We'll add the 8th note after the 2. We'll add the and of 2 then. So then we've got 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. So again, we've got this uneven spacing of notes. It's syncopated, right? So we can think of it like that, like a mixture of note values or uneven spacing of notes, anything like that, that's your syncopation. So you might be thinking, well, isn't like everything then that we play on the drums syncopated? Because it's so likely that we're playing 8th notes there, maybe quarter notes there, 2 and 4 there, not playing the same note value every time on every single drum, but it's the individual drum or cymbal that we're looking at that becomes whether it's syncopated or non-syncopated. So if there's constant 8th notes on there, that's non-syncopated. If there's a 1 and a 3 and an and of 3 there, that's syncopated. But the collective thing isn't syncopated. That's still non-syncopated if that one is, right? Okay, so take a little look at the notation then for the example that we're going to use. As I say, this is syncopation on hi-hats. This is going to be our focus. We are going to have syncopation on everything. At the end, I'll add in syncopation on snare and kick. But take a little look at this, and then I'll come back to you and we'll break it down. All right. Alright, so let's check this hi-hat part out first. So you might notice that these are groups of 3, but the way they're placed in the bar makes it very awkward to think of them as groups of 3 because it splits one of the groups of 3. So it's much easier to use our 16th note count, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Using that count, much simpler to get rid of the E's, all right? So we just don't play our E's. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay? Much simpler. Now, this being an advanced lesson, we gotta add accents in as well. So the accents are gonna be on every quarter. So the numbers then, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay. So it's going to be a good idea just to repeat that part, maybe even without accents first, add in the accents, give that time to internalize, just go over that just hi-hats only before you add in everything else. I'm going to play this for you in a second as well. You can play along with me, and I'm going to start with just hi-hats, and I'll add the kick in separately after a few bars, 4 or so bars, and then I'll add everything else in at the end. So you can do it that way as well, of course. The kicks are on 1, 3, and the and of 3. The snare is just on 2 and 4. So this is at 60 BPM. Try this out with me, see how it goes. So if that was tricky, ask yourself, what was it about it that was hard? Is it the relationship between kicks and hi-hats? Is that hi-hat part truly internalized yet? Just keep in mind that you are still progressing if you go backwards, right? It's okay to go back a step. And sometimes when you're hitting that wall, it really is necessary to go back so that you can take a run up and finally push through that wall. And when you do get through those walls, keep pushing the tempo up, 5-10 BPM increments, something like that. When you get to like 90 BPM, you'll start to hear this thing really comes to life. I think past 120 BPM, maybe it's not so useful. So I'm going to set the target tempo at 120 BPM because it's really the maximum of where it sits. Okay, so try this out then. Here we go. So this is a perfectly usable groove. This is absolutely fine. And if it's a busy tune, we might not want any more than this, but if we've got the space to do so, we could develop it. So have a little look at this notation. This is going to be our next step then. Right, so hopefully you notice we're just adding in a couple of kicks and one snare. The hi-hats all staying the same. So those two kicks, let's just check out where they are. We've got them on, they're both on as. One is the first one is the a of 2 that we're adding, and then the second is the a of 4, okay? So the kick part in total now will be 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay, that's our kick. The snare, we're adding a ghost note, and that's the E of 3, okay? It's a light note, remember. So for the snare then, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, okay? That's everything then. So this is gonna be at 60 BPM, try this with me. All right, so all the same as before, any problems, just don't be afraid to go back, all that sort of stuff. With something like this, if it's, let's say, the ghost note you're having trouble with, right? That's one note in the bar. So it's on the E of 3. What we could do is just isolate that third quarter. Yeah? We could just play 3 E and up. 3 E and up. And just isolate that one quarter. Doing that makes it somewhat economical. If it's only that note that's giving us a problem, just repeating that small bit that's around it rather than doing the whole thing all the time makes it far more economical. Yeah, so you can use that process as well. All right, keep going with it, increasing the BPM again as before. We're going to do this then together at 120 BPM again. See how this goes. Alright, so I really hope that you got something out of this, and I hope that you enjoyed it. If you want to download the track that I'm playing to in the beginning, you can head over to the Rockphonix website to download that. It's free to do so. Obviously, any questions, comments, or whatever, stick them down below, drop us an email, anything is fine, it's all good. Alright, I think that's it, we're done then. And I'll see you in the next one. Have fun.